Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes what seems like a disaster might actually be saving you from something much worse? What if what hurts you today is exactly what will save you tomorrow? This story will make you rethink the way you see life's difficulties. Is there really something good behind the pain? Does even suffering have a purpose? The answer may sound simple, but it's deep. Yes, everything has meaning. Even what seems unfair, in time, reveals itself to be necessary. And this truth, although hard to accept at first, carries a transforming power. Once upon a time, there was a powerful king, admired by his people and ruler of a vast kingdom. By his side was always a minister known for his calm intelligence and serene wisdom. This minister had a curious habit. No matter what happened, he would always say with unshakable conviction, "Everything happens for a reason." By the way, if this reflection has already stirred something inside you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps spread messages that strengthen and transform, just like this one. Sometimes, a simple story could open up a whole new way of seeing life. One day, while the king was cleaning his favorite sword with a minister nearby, an accident happened. The blade slipped from his hands and hit his foot, cutting off one of his toes. The pain was instant, and the shock was great. Blood flowed, servants ran in panic, and there, in the middle of it all, the minister calmly observed. Then he said, as always, "Everything happens for a reason." The king, consumed by pain and anger, couldn't stand those words. How could this tragedy be something good? His toe had been cut off. Furious, he shouted at the minister, "Have you lost your mind? My toe is gone, I'm bleeding, and you say this is for good?" Without thinking twice, he ordered the minister to be thrown into prison. Even as he was dragged away by the guards, the man showed no revolt. He looked at the king, smiled, and repeated, "Everything happens for a reason." The king was even more confused. How could someone heading to prison be so calm? 2 months passed since the incident. The king had recovered from the injury, and one day decided to go hunting with his soldiers. Riding his horse, he led the group into the forest. At some point, he saw a deer sprint ahead and, excited by the chase, decided to follow it alone, getting farther and farther from his men. But the more he rode, the more he got lost. The animal disappeared, and before he knew it, the king was completely isolated in the dense woods. He tried to find his way back, shouted for the guards, but there was no answer. He was lost. Before he could think of what to do, he was surrounded by a group of forest natives. These were isolated tribes, with no contact with the kingdom. They didn't know who he was and didn't care. They saw a stranger on their land and captured him. But fate seemed even crueler. That tribe practiced human sacrifice to appease their gods. And the king, now a prisoner, would be the next offering. Not understanding his language, they ignored his pleas for mercy. In celebration, they bathed him, dressed him in clean clothes, placed flower necklaces around his neck, and prepared him for the ritual. The fire was lit, drums echoed, and the ceremony was about to begin. That's when the tribal chief approached and, while examining the king's body, noticed something. One of his toes was missing. He immediately stopped everything. The drumming ceased. "This man cannot be sacrificed," said the chief. "He is incomplete. And offering an imperfect life could anger the spirit instead of pleasing it." Without hesitation, they released the king and let him go. Still in shock, the king returned to his palace with a pounding heart and a racing mind. It was unbelievable. He had escaped death because of one missing toe. The first thing he did upon arriving was order the minister's release from prison. "You were right," the king said humbly. "Losing my toe saved my life. But tell me, what about you? You were locked up for 2 months. You suffered for no reason. How could that be good?" The minister, with a soft smile, replied, "Your Majesty, I was your advisor, and I'd always accompanied you on your hunts. If I hadn't been in prison, I would have been with you. And unlike you, my body was whole. When they saw that, they surely would have chosen me as the sacrifice. That's why I say with even more certainty, everything happens for a reason." The king fell silent, deeply moved by that answer. That wasn't just luck, it was wisdom, destiny, life unfolding in a way we don't always understand right away. This story, simple at first glance, carries a powerful lesson. In our lives, we often face situations that seem unfair, painful, or senseless. We lose opportunities, suffer rejection, face setbacks. And in the heat of the moment, it's easy to complain and ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But time goes by, and with it, clarity comes. We look back and realize that if it hadn't happened, something worse might have, or we wouldn't have grown, or we wouldn't have found a better path. The truth is, not everything that seems bad really is. Sometimes, it's just the universe protecting you. Of course, our mind wants to understand everything. It wants immediate answers. But our intelligence is limited. Life, destiny, nature, they all operate on a level we haven't reached yet. Everything in this world is connected to action and consequence. It's the law of karma. Those who do good receive good. Those who spread pain eventually face it. And even that pain, when it comes to cleanse, correct, and prepare. If today you're going through a tough moment, remember this. It's not punishment. It's correction. It's care. It's the universe forging you. Creation is not your enemy. Life is not against you. Nothing truly bad can happen to someone who's willing to grow through what they experience. So let go of the idea that you are a victim. And say it with faith. Everything happens for a reason. If this story touched you in any way, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Together, we can spread messages that heal, strengthen, and awaken. Because one simple phrase can completely change someone's path.